Hey guys, wanted to come on here today and talk about this movie that I finally got a chance to see after all this time. Of course, I'm talking about All of Us Strangers, written and directed by Andrew Haigh, starring Andrew Scott, Paul Mescal, Jamie Bell, and Claire Foy. And this follows a screenwriter by the name of Adam who lives in this lonely apartment building and essentially goes to the town and the old house that he grew up in when his parents were still alive. And suddenly, as he goes back to the old place where he lived, his parents reappear just as they were right before they died when he was the age of 12. And this has been getting a lot of buzz all throughout award season. Of course, missed out at the Oscars. Andrew Scott even missed out at the BAFTA, and I'll get into that. But this was a film that everybody was talking about, and I could not wait to see. So me and my buddy, we drove a little ways out of town to go see it, and I will say right off the bat, it was very well worth the effort. And I will say it did take a while to get into it, but when you get to the last 40 minutes of this movie, I mean, it is just incredible. And the thing that's so amazing about this film, it's so surreal and dreamlike. And yet again, it has this very supernatural element to it, of course, based on what I've explained. And in a lot of ways, it's wish fulfillment that has a legitimate catharsis to it. Because obviously, this is a character who's never fully gotten over the death of his parents. And Andrew Scott, I gotta say right off the bat, is absolutely amazing in this film. It's a very internalized performance, and it has a lot to do with body movements and, just the way his body language speaks to his certain situation, how he acts around his parents, how he acts around his budding boyfriend, played by Paul Mescal here, quite brilliantly, might I add. And I think that Andrew Scott especially carries so much of this film on his back and succeeds at doing so with flying colors. I just absolutely think he's incredible, but yet again, I understand why he may have missed out on Best Actor. Maybe I would have picked him for the 5, but the fact that him, Efron, and of all people, DiCaprio missed for the Oscar, I think that's saying how great of a year it was in the lead acting category. And I also think, as I mentioned, Paul Mescal is absolutely amazing in this. Coming off his Academy Award-nominated performance in Aftersun, he continues to prove why he is such a great talent that we should be looking out for. The tenderness, the gravitas he brings to this role as Harry, Adam's boyfriend who he meets in the apartment, who seemingly they're the only two people in that building. I just think it's so tender, it's so beautiful, the way their relationship blossoms throughout the movie and the emotional crux that is created between the two. And I also think you can say the same thing about Jamie Bell and Claire Foy as his parents are just so beautiful in this movie and really grounded in the way they portray this, because this could have been a very heightened sort of story when we're talking about like Ghost and all that, but really it genuinely feels so grounded in a way that is absolutely believable. And I never really questioned for a second the legitimacy of this situation, even though there may be some questions along the way, you could say. And I absolutely loved just these conversations between these characters. Felt so real, genuinely speaking. And, especially the fact that Adam is a character who's obviously a gay man, and he never got the chance to come out to his parents before realizing who he really was. And getting to see those interactions and how he does that and how his parents react to him as someone who has essentially grown beyond their own lives, I think is just absolutely gut-wrenching at sometimes, but also absolutely stunning in the most beautiful ways imaginable. And yet again, it's the last 40 minutes of the movies that it's a lot to take in. Like, I felt like it was almost trippy, by the end of the movie. Not going to say why, but it genuinely feels a bit hallucinatory at certain points, in the best ways possible, both in a good and bad way. And I don't mean bad way from a filmmaking standpoint, but I just mean narratively speaking, it really goes to really complicated places emotionally. And I really, really respected Andrew Haigh for taking that approach. My biggest thing with the movie, yet again, the ending, there's a scene right before the ending that is like one of the most powerful moments from any film last year, but I went through so much on the ending. Just my thoughts keep shifting, because at first I was like, I don't know if this makes sense. I don't know if this is the right choice. And then I was like, well, it was done so beautifully, but then I can't stop thinking about it. And then I'm like, does it all add up? And I'm just like kind of lost in that sense. I think this is a film that would definitely play better on rewatch, especially knowing how things in the story fall into place and what to look out for, looking for the clues throughout the story. But yet again, the writing is so subtle, yet so evocative, so real. It's genuinely one of those movies that I think you're going to come back to and grow to appreciate over time. I know I certainly will. Yet again, not a film that is as immediately investing as some other films from last year, but this is a fantastic effort, and I think everyone should see this film. Yet again, just the idea of someone being able to get to talk to their parents and tell them all the things that they never got the chance to. I think anyone is going to relate to that who has lost a parent. But I think just on a human level, it's a very relatable story about loneliness and isolation. It is just absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to give All of Us Strangers an 8.5 out of 10. You definitely have to check this one out as soon as it comes to a theater near you, because I know limited release, it was released at the end of December, but some other areas it might be a bit difficult to get your hands on it and actually get tickets to go see it, but I really urge you to do so if you have the opportunity. So yeah, guys, that's my review of All of Us Strangers. If you've seen it, let me know down in the comments below what you think. Let's talk about that ending, but of course, put a spoiler tag right before, so that way people won't have to be spoiled by this wonderful and complex and puzzling ending. And of course, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're here for the first time. Would really appreciate the support. Definitely going to be supplying you guys with more movie reviews soon. Still trying to figure out what those are. Still trying to figure out the Sundance stuff. But rest assured, there's going to be a lot of content coming very, very soon. So yeah, guys, until the next video, you have yourselves a good one, and I'll talk to you later.